just a good old boy.
Well, we're working on the Claas 360 today. I've got all the parts in and ready to go back together. This is the bearing plates that goes on each end of that roller. I will show y'all the roller once we get this done. They did make changes to the roller and have it strengthened and improved it, and in my opinion, and we'll look at that here in a minute. But I'm going to show y'all how to change these bearings first. I've already changed this one. This is a new bearing that's in here. Here's the bearing that come out of it. I damaged it getting it out, but just wanted to show y'all, still full of grease. As much hay as this thing's had run through it, it's still full of grease, and this bearing's still tight, still in good shape. I could have just put these bearings back on, and I wouldn't really be that careful with this. There's the seal. The seal on that bearing was still in good shape. They have good bearings in these balers. I will say that. Claas uses very good bearings in their balers. The bearings wasn't the problem here. I mean, it was just a structural failure. You can buy a plate to weld in the drum, but we'll go over that when we look at it here in a minute. But first, we're going to change out this bearing and get everything squared away here. Set this up here on the vise. You do not press these out. These are not press out bearings. If you try to press these bearings out of this style housing, you will bust the cast, or whatever it's made out of. Looks like cast. You will crack it and bust it, and you'll have to buy a new one. The way you fix these is you have to twist the bearing and pop it out. So I'm gonna try to turn this thing. I've got my little pecking hammer here. Keeps me out of trouble most of the time. I brought my bigger hammer out here to knock the bearing actually out, but I don't know where it went. Shop's clean. Everything's put where it's supposed to be. I had it out there at the baler. Swore I toted it out here, but now it's missing. Let me make sure I'm twisting that. All right, you want to make sure you twist it to where the two ends are twisting at the indents. So that way it makes it easier about getting it out. You can move it after you get it down to line it up to pop out, but sometimes it can be a pill. I was gonna save these, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to. I keep crushing everything in, which I don't think, even if they went out, I don't think I'd put a bearing that's got all this, got as much use as these have on them back in the baler, even though they look fine, unless it was an emergency. There you go. It spins just like that inside of there. Now, I've got to, it's not quite lined up with these two tabs right here, and that's where the bearing pops out. So I've got to twist it a little bit. The other one twisted fairly easy. Take these dust plate screws out. I don't want to mess them up. But we'll see how this one goes. You never know. Boy, I have missed this baler since I had to go back to running the Vermeer. Not that there's anything wrong with the Vermeer, it's just it's not the Claas. It's slower. It just doesn't. It takes you longer to do anything. Rain's on top of you. It's just not as fun to run as the Claas. The Vermeer is actually running really good right now. There we go. See, it just lines up with those two slots. Drop it in there, and then you just bend it over. I mean, you don't have to twist it or nothing. Once you get it in, you just bend it like that, and it'll pop right back in its groove. But once you get it lined up with those slots, it just pulls right out. Hey, y'all seen it? So, let's see. Put these in. These are good bearings. That's one thing I found. Even when I went to bearing specialty places and I showed them the bearings, they were like, "That's pretty good bearing there." And there they are, pretty good size in these. I've only ever had 2 bearing failures that were actual. Well, really only one. One I took out with that roller that I thought I felt play in. We went ahead and replaced it. One of the compression rollers back yonder. But I'll be honest, I think if I'd have left that roller in there after I got it out, I think it would have been fine. I don't think it would ever give any trouble, to be honest. But I felt a little bit of play. I mean, it was nothing. And I went ahead and replaced it. That's only one of 2 times I've ever replaced anything on it for bearings. I had one of the pickup bearings went out one time. And I never knew really why that went out. The other side never went out. Still hasn't. May go out tomorrow, but it never went out. I didn't replace it either. Just left the one that was in it. Maybe it was just a manufacturer's flaw in the bearing. I don't know. That particular one. A block of wood. This is where I need a bigger hammer. Wait a minute. One of my hammers is over there in the back of my son's truck that I was using just a few minutes ago, or that I used on the last one. My dead blow one, and I'm wondering, it's been moved since I left out of here to go get the camera. I'm wondering if he didn't get the other one and do something with it. There we go. There we go. That's it. It's in. You don't have to press these or nothing. I hope y'all seen that because the camera was pointing a little bit off. But you don't have to press these or anything. That's one good thing about that style. You can actually change them out in the field if you needed to and you had the bearings pretty easily. That's one thing that's good about them. But if you don't know to twist them, you will bust that housing. Here's the new roller for this thing, the drum roller. This is the new one. The steel on the actual drum is thicker. Then on the end of these plates, they put 1/2-inch steel plates in them. And instead of having a shaft that runs all the way through with stacked thin plates, they instead put these stubs on the end. It doesn't have a shaft that runs through, and they put a 1/2-inch steel thick plate on the end. and they thickened the drum steel up. Versus these, you can see how thin that is. And then the drum itself is only probably that thickness there, about the thickness of a quarter is about all it is. But I mean, it held up for years. I mean, in a lot of hay, so I can't really complain too much about it. But that's what they did. And what happened with this one, if you didn't catch that video, was the shaft that runs. This one has a shaft that runs all the way through, and then these thinner plates are stacked all the way down through there. The shaft actually broke, and then it started to give, and over time it just started to wobble in there, and it eventually broke the plate out of the other end. Now you can buy, one of y'all told me that was a dealer for Claas, said that you can buy these plates to weld into these drums to fix these. Now that one, I don't know, I'll show you why I didn't go that route with this one. He was saying that you could do that and it'd save quite a bit of money. That was what they did if they ever had these to fail on some units that they had sold. Mine busted open right there, and I could have welded it back, but the steel had wore so thin, like right here in certain areas, it wasn't worth it. I would have had to completely reskin and basically build a whole new drum, which I've got a guy who could do it and who can build me a drum that has a machine shop. But I decided not to go that route. It was just order a whole brand new one and stick in this thing. I mean, 27,000 rolls. I mean, I cannot complain at all about the use we've gotten out of that one. At that point, and I'm planning on keeping this baler no matter what we do or decide. This baler's staying. I'm not getting rid of this baler. It will be here. This is going to be the second baler we own. Well, now I'm gonna put the bearing in. You put the ring part down and the flat part goes up. They just pretty well just pop on there. Ain't too big of a deal. Screw these little screws out. Let me get the dust cover and put it on. All right, quick. Lay it up here. You gotta find the right pattern. Certain way this thing goes. You just put the little flathead screws that holds it on back in. And then we'll be ready to stick the roller up in there, and then we gotta bolt the bearings on. But it's pretty well it on what to do. Let me get a flathead and tighten those up. I'll move on to the next part here in a minute. Now the fun part, I gotta try to get this roller back in there by myself. And it's not exactly light. This one here is a good bit heavier than the original. Oh God. Good bit heavier. Try to get it fit through the belts first. And then I'll roll it up in there. Oh. me get some gloves. I'm tearing up my hands. Turn on that metal. Whew. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, this thing is a lot heavier than the original one. So that's a good thing. That they've learned that they're making the parts better. Even though it's not the original, they made it better, which tells me they're improving. They could have easily sold me the same exact thing back, but they didn't. Oh. All right. There it is. There it is. Got in there. Whew. That was a bitch. I've had worse. It wasn't that bad. But man, that is a job by yourself trying to get that thing in there. Really should have two people to set it in. Once you get it in, it's not too bad. At least it wasn't coming out. But all right, that's got that part done. I went ahead and stuck the bolts on the other side, just to kind of help shorten the video up. But you got to pick this thing up right here, and then I've got to try to line the holes up with the other holes. And this chain, in a way, on this side, it's probably going to be more trouble. Try to. Where's? Ah, crap. Won't move it no more. There you go. Needs picking up just a touch to get that bolt lined up. Ever get it to hang right? There it is. There we go. Dang it. it, and we'll tighten. I'll stick it in there quick, and we'll tighten them up. All right. So I tightened up those bolts, and I went ahead and put the pan in too. I'll show y'all that here in a second. This is the piece that turns the net and strings. Cat, look out. It's my boy's kitten. It's a little friendly, ain't it? Ooh, here. It's got 2 shims and a washer that goes in here. If I can get them to go where they're supposed to. Dang it. It's hard to hold that washer over to keep them shims up while you're trying to tighten this thing and not fall down and get all wacky. Alright, I think it's got it. I guess a whack with this will do. There we go. Now, I gotta put this control unit back in. Clean these off. Set it back in there. Oh. Plug should go on that side. Yep. Gotta try to get this thing back down in there. You don't see? Yeah, you don't see. Set the cutoff in here. Let's see. I think I'm doing this wrong. In fact, I know I am. Now I can't get it up. That's gotta go back down in there. And then y'all see them tabs? And if y'all can see them or not, I get the phone. Light it up for you. There you go. Right there. There's 2 tabs on the end of that wing, and I just tightened. I've got to line it up. There's with that plate that's on the back side of this, it's got 2 holes that it lines up and fits into. So I've got to line all that up. Get it to go back. What's so hard about that is getting them tabs to line up and then getting it over them and get y'all over these bolts, because that little bar right there overlaps that, so and it's spring loaded and it's a pain to get them springs back on, so I didn't want to do them. And trying to get that thing back behind there with that thing on there it's not fun. It's a little bit aggravating. Not too bad, but a little bit aggravating. Now I gotta tighten all this stuff back up. these put back on here. Now I gotta mount this this idler back on. Oh crap. Dang plastic about to drive me crazy from that roller. Pulley, whatever you want to call it. Put it back on now. Off. Or to put it on, I mean. There we go. That's it. Now, we gotta reroute that belt, and I gotta try to remember how it goes. I'll be right back. Oh God. Lord help. That ain't on there. Alright, now. That's got all that on. I gotta move this one security guide. It's right here. Y'all don't. There. There we go. That's got it on. Alright. So, starting up here, coming to the bottom, you go all the way down behind all those others, and it goes into this one. It goes around it, back up through here, back around that one, down from there, all the way down on the inside loop or inside slot, all the way around that bottom pulley, back up, and then down to this pulley that is attached by this spring, and it goes all the way back up. Whoo! Wow. Got it on. And it's on right, and it has to be a twist in this one, and there has to be a twist in this one. So both of these have to be twisted, so that way they line up with the pulleys correctly, the way they're supposed to be, and to line up with idlers the way they're supposed to be. So there you go, that's the belt. All right. So in here, this is what y'all missed earlier. My camera died, and I had to recharge it. Before I started putting the belt on, this is what I had to do when I tightened down the bearings on the drum. I also had to push this knife back down. It cuts any debris that might try to wrap. It's basically a clean off knife right here. The way you adjust it is you loosen these 13mm bolts all the way across it. You stick a filler gauge in where these strips are, and you set it to a certain distance to keep it clean. I've still got to set it, but I'm not going to show that. It's pretty straightforward. You just take a filler gauge and set it off of those strips and tighten them back down. But what we did have to do, get some line in here. Right there, those nuts that are flatheads that pop in there, there's 3 of them. There's also one behind that piece of steel there. You have to get to it from the front. We've run them back through. Dad helped me do that. He had to hold the back side while I tightened it. And you tighten those back up. And those bolt heads are located over here. You have to take it out to get the drum out. But those bolt heads are right there, and let's see, this one, there's that one, and there's one more somewhere else. Oh, I know where it's at. It's right down there. When these pulleys are undone, you can get to it. but it's right back there. So that's it. All I like is setting the twine box back on. It just bolts onto that piece there across the bottom, and it's got one more or two that runs up the top that you stick in. That's nothing that's hard to do or anything worth watching. But that's it. That's got the drum put back in. We'll tighten the belts up, and then we'll turn on and see what she does. And I gotta tighten all the chains back up, but I've went over that before in previous videos. So thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.